The cowboy rode into the Apache village, convinced he knew exactly who had stolen his prized horse. Every track pointed there, and everyone in town warned him to expect trouble. But the moment he arrived, an Apache elder showed him something that made him stop in his tracks. His horse had never been stolen by the Apache at all. The real thieves were far closer than anyone had imagined, and uncovering the truth would change the cowboy's life forever. The first light of morning spread across the Arizona frontier as Cole Walker stepped out of his cabin with a bucket in one hand and a saddle blanket in the other. Every day began the same way. Before breakfast, before checking the fences, before anything else, he visited the stable. His chestnut stallion, Ranger, had been his closest companion for 6 years. The horse had carried him through blinding dust storms, dangerous river crossings, and lonely trails where a single mistake could cost a man his life. Cole trusted Ranger more than he trusted most people. As he approached the stable, something felt wrong. The wooden gate hung open. A loose rope swayed gently in the morning breeze. Cole's heart sank. "Ranger!" Only silence answered him. He rushed inside. The stall was empty. Fresh hoofprints covered the ground outside the stable, leading away from the ranch and toward the western hills. Cole knelt beside the tracks. There had been more than one horse. Someone had come during the night. Within minutes, several neighboring ranchers arrived after hearing Cole's call. Samuel Briggs studied the trail before pointing toward the distant mountains. "Those tracks lead straight toward the Apache village." Another rancher folded his arms. "I have been saying for months that horses have been disappearing. They finally took yours." Cole looked toward the mountains without speaking. He had never had trouble with the Apache, but the evidence seemed difficult to ignore. The trail pointed in only one direction. Without wasting another moment, he saddled his second horse, packed fresh water, and tied a rifle behind the saddle. Samuel placed a hand on his shoulder. "Be careful. If they took Ranger, they may not give him back." Cole nodded. "I am bringing him home." The ride lasted most of the day. The desert stretched endlessly before him, broken only by towering rocks and scattered cactus. Every mile revealed fresh hoofprints pressed into the dusty ground. By late afternoon, smoke from cooking fires appeared beyond a line of cottonwood trees. The Apache village came into view. Cole slowed his horse. Instead of warriors preparing for battle, he saw women grinding corn, children laughing as they chased one another, and elders sitting beneath the shade of large trees. The peaceful scene did not match the stories many settlers liked to tell. Several villagers noticed his arrival but remained calm. A tall elderly man stepped forward with quiet confidence. His long gray hair rested across his shoulders, and his eyes showed neither fear nor anger. "You have traveled far," the elder said in clear English. "I am looking for my horse," Cole answered firmly. "The tracks led me here." The elder listened without interrupting. When Cole finished speaking, the old man simply nodded. "Come with me." There was no argument, no denial, no sign of guilt, only a calm invitation. Cole hesitated for a moment before following the elder through the village. He had come expecting a confrontation. Instead, he was about to discover a truth that would change everything. Cole followed the elder through the quiet village, passing families who continued their daily work without paying much attention to him. No one whispered. No one reached for a weapon. The calm unsettled him more than anger would have. After several minutes, they climbed a gentle hill overlooking a wide meadow. The elder stopped and pointed ahead. "There." Cole looked across the field. His breath caught. Ranger stood beneath a tall cottonwood tree, calmly eating fresh grass. The stallion lifted his head the moment he heard Cole's footsteps and let out a familiar whinny. "Ranger!" Cole hurried across the meadow. The horse trotted toward him, pressing his head gently against Cole's shoulder. Relief washed over him as he ran his hand along Ranger's neck. Then he noticed something. A clean bandage was wrapped around Ranger's front leg. The swelling had already begun to disappear. Cole looked at the elder. "What happened?" "3 of our young hunters found him near Black Rock Canyon 2 days ago," the elder replied. "His leg was injured, and he could barely walk. We brought him here before the wolves found him." Cole knelt beside the horse and examined the wound. The bandage had been carefully tied, and healing herbs had been placed beneath the cloth. "Who did this?" "Our healer." Cole lowered his head. "I thought someone here had stolen him." The elder smiled kindly. "It is easy to believe the first story we hear." He led Cole a little farther into the meadow. Several other horses grazed nearby. Unlike Ranger, each carried the same strange brand burned into its shoulder. "We found these horses wandering as well," the elder said. "They belong to different ranches." Cole frowned. "If you did not take them, who did?" The elder pointed toward a line of fresh hoofprints leading into the distant hills. "The people who truly steal horses leave those tracks." Cole followed them with his eyes. For the first time, he realized Ranger had never been the target. Someone was stealing horses from both settlers and Apache families. The real thieves were still out there. The next morning, Cole stood beside Ranger as the Apache elder introduced him to 3 skilled trackers. Their names were Takoda, Chaitin, and Nalin. Each had spent years learning to read the desert, noticing signs that most people would never see. "If we leave now," the elder said, "we may still catch them." The 4 riders followed the fresh trail into the mountains. At first, Cole saw nothing unusual. The ground was hard, and the wind had erased many of the tracks. Yet the trackers moved with quiet confidence, pointing to small clues along the way. Takoda knelt beside a patch of loose stones. "One horse was carrying a heavy load," he said. A little farther ahead, Chaitin picked up a torn piece of leather caught on a thorn bush. "They passed here yesterday." By afternoon, the trail led into a narrow canyon hidden between towering cliffs. The riders dismounted and continued on foot. As they reached the end of the canyon, Cole looked down into a wide valley below. His eyes widened. More than 30 horses stood inside a fenced camp. Some wore ranch brands he recognized from neighboring farms. Others belonged to Apache families. The frightened animals had been gathered together, waiting to be sold. Several armed men walked among the horses, laughing as they counted their stolen prize. Cole clenched his fists. So it is true. Before anyone could plan their next move, one of the thieves looked toward the ridge. "There!" The shout echoed across the valley. Within seconds, armed riders mounted their horses and charged toward the canyon. "Go!" Takoda shouted. The 4 men raced back through the narrow pass as bullets struck the rocks behind them. They escaped the canyon before sunset, but one thing was certain. They had found the stolen horses. Now they had to return and set them free. That night, Cole returned to the hidden valley with Takoda, Chaitin, Nalin, and several trusted ranchers who now knew the truth. No one spoke as they moved through the darkness. The only sounds were the distant calls of night birds and the restless horses inside the camp. Cole studied the thieves from behind a cluster of rocks. "There are fewer guards than before," he whispered. Takoda nodded. "They believe we will not come back." The group quietly spread out around the valley. While the ranchers waited near the entrance, the Apache trackers slipped through the shadows toward the corral. With careful hands, they untied the ropes that secured the gate. Cole gave a small nod. The gate swung open. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Ranger stepped forward. The chestnut stallion let out a loud whinny that echoed across the valley. The other horses answered. Within seconds, dozens of frightened animals rushed through the open gate, thundering across the camp. The ground shook beneath their hooves as the thieves scrambled in every direction. "What is happening?" one outlaw shouted. Before they could react, the ranchers blocked the only trail leading out of the valley. "Drop your weapons," Cole called. The thieves looked around and realized there was nowhere to run. Surrounded by determined ranchers on one side and Apache trackers on the other, they slowly lowered their rifles. Their leader threw his weapon onto the ground with a look of defeat. "It is over," he muttered. Cole walked to Ranger and wrapped his arms around the loyal horse's neck. For the first time in days, he smiled. The horses were safe, and the men who had divided 2 communities with lies would never steal another animal again. A few days later, the stolen horses were returned to their rightful owners. Ranchers gathered from across the frontier, each grateful to see their animals safely home. Word quickly spread that the Apache had not been the thieves. Instead, they had helped uncover the gang responsible for every missing horse. Cole stood before the crowd and spoke honestly. I came to the Apache village believing they had taken Ranger. I was wrong. They protected my horse when I should have trusted them from the beginning." The ranchers fell silent. Samuel Briggs stepped forward and removed his hat. "We judged good people without knowing the truth," he admitted. "That mistake ends today." Later that afternoon, Cole returned to the Apache village one last time. The elder welcomed him with a warm smile and handed him a small wooden carving of a running horse. "Keep this," the elder said. "Whenever you look at it, remember that truth is stronger than fear." Cole accepted the gift with gratitude. As he rode home beside Ranger, the evening sun painted the desert in shades of gold. The same trail that had once led him with anger now carried him back with understanding. He realized the greatest thing he had recovered was not his horse. It was his faith that trust, respect, and honesty could bring people together, even after fear had tried to pull them apart. Sometimes the greatest discoveries are not the ones we expect to make. Cole set out to recover his stolen horse, but along the way he uncovered the truth, found unexpected friends, and learned that judging others without knowing the facts can lead us far from justice. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe for more original Western frontier stories filled with courage, honor, redemption, and unforgettable adventures. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story from the American frontier. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you were in Cole's place, would you have trusted the Apache elder after believing your horse had been stolen? Thank you for watching. Until our next journey across the Old West, take care, stay kind, and remember that the truth often waits beyond our first assumptions.